I am so excited to share this with you. I recently purchased one of the items off of my stationery wish list, and I recently shared my stationery wish list in a video on my channel. If you've seen that, you might know what this is. But I finally got my hands on a Superior Labor utility leather case, and I'm so happy because it has been sold out everywhere that I've looked for it. And I guess it just doesn't show up on Google that there are some retailers that do still have this in stock. Whenever I've looked previously, it only shows me results for Baumkuchen, and on Baumkuchen it's sold out. But recently I was on the Stationery Selection, which is a Japan-based retailer, and I was just scrolling through their Superior Labor products, and then I saw that they had the case in stock, but they only had it in one color. And luckily it was the color that I've been wanting. So that just felt like fate. And the other reason why I felt okay with making this purchase right now is they were selling it at a much cheaper price point than I've seen it anywhere else. And it was free shipping and no taxes. So all in all, this ended up being a much lower price point than what it would have been if I bought it somewhere else. That really convinced me to just go ahead and purchase it because I have been coveting this case for a very long time now, years at this point. And I'm finally at a point in my life where it makes sense for me to purchase this. And so the fact that it was at a lower price, I finally found it in stock in the color that I wanted. It just felt like the right time to go ahead and get it for myself. So the utility leather case does come in this beautiful dust bag from the Superior Labor. And can I just say, I love their logo so much. I think this script is so beautiful. And I got the dark brown color. And maybe I'll keep this underneath so that you can really see the color. I don't think the camera is gonna pick up just how stunning this color is. So I have always loved the dark brown colorway. I think it's one of their least popular colors for this case. Whenever I see reviews of this case online, I have only ever seen it in the light brown or caramel color. And then I've seen some people have the olive, which I think was like a limited edition release, but I have always loved the dark brown the most. I think it is such a stunning, beautiful reddish brown. This to me looks more mahogany or burgundy. It's definitely like a blackened burgundy tone, and I love that. I've always loved like really, really deep reds that almost look like a brownish black, and I think this color is just stunning. It has so much depth and dimension and richness to it. So I'm really happy with how the color actually looks in person, because I know sometimes there are discrepancies between online photos and what you see in person. I think in person, this is definitely darker than the pictures online, which I'm not mad at. I actually think it's stunning. Okay, so on the case, there is an embossing here. It's really hard to see it, even in person. It's very subtle because this case is so dark, and that was upside down. The embossing is also really dark, so you can only see it in the light when light is reflecting on it. So very subtle, but it just says standard and strong, the Superior Labor. And then it has their tagline, which is, "We take pride in craftsmanship and never skimp on time and effort," in really small text down here. So very subtle, you can only really see it in the light, but it's still a really nice detail. And hopefully you can see that on camera. Other details, this has a brass zipper, and these are YKK zippers. The zipper is quite thick, Like it's a chunky zipper, and I like that because I think it's really gonna stand the test of time. And it's very, very smooth. Like buttery smooth. It's a little less smooth to close because it's empty right now. But I think when it's full, it would be just as smooth to close. So as I was saying, I like how durable this zipper feels because honestly, I invested in this case in the first place because I knew it would last me a lifetime. The material quality of the Superior Labor products is so high. The craftsmanship is so impeccable, and the durability of these cases are so impressive that I knew this would last me a very, very long time. And not only that, but that it would age gracefully. And that's really what I want to start looking for more when I'm adding things to my collection. I think I really want to slow down and be very intentional about bringing in products that are going to last the test of time and that are going to age gracefully and that will age with me as I age. So I'm not looking for something that's going to look perfect forever, but I do want items that will last forever. And I definitely think that this case will. Just feeling it in my hands, seeing all of the details up close, seeing how neat these stitch lines are and how thick and nice this leather feels, and seeing the actual materials used, real leather, brass zippers, I can tell without a doubt that this is going to last. It's not going to fall apart over time. And that's really important to me now. I would rather spend more money up front to have to spend less money in the long run. Sometimes if you opt for a cheaper item of lesser quality, you end up purchasing more items over time, having to replace that. Versus if I just pay, a larger amount of money up front, in the long run, I will be spending much less money because this will be the one item that I need, and I don't see myself ever having to purchase another. But that's just kind of the philosophy that I'm really drawn to nowadays. And I really want to invest in quality items moving forward. I mean, I know that I'm someone that likes to keep my collection really minimal and not acquire a lot of things. And so if I'm going to be really selective about the items that I purchase, I want them to be high quality and in some ways like a luxury item. I want it to bring me joy every time I use it. I want it to feel special in my hands, and I want it to age gracefully with me as I age. And I still want it to show signs of wear because that shows that I'm loving it and using it, but I want it to last. And that is why I love the Superior Labor so much, because that is exactly their brand philosophy. They care a lot about craftsmanship, about attention to detail, and all of their products are so beautifully and thoughtfully designed. So I'm really happy to have this now, and I can't wait to start using it. One more thing I wanted to mention. As soon as I opened this up and took it out of the bag, the first thing that I noticed is the smell. It has such a delicious leather scent. It smells amazing. And it's just leather. It's just the leather. I find myself like removing it out of the bag often just to smell it because it smells so good. So weird detail, but thought I would share. Okay, let's open this up. So inside, there are 2 compartments in this case. It's quite simple. And it also came with this Superior Labor leather tag. But it's a very simple case, and I think that's what makes it so versatile, because it's left pretty open-ended. You can use it however you see fit, however you want to. I'm planning to use it for stationery, but I've seen other people use it to hold woodworking tools or sewing supplies or even like watercolor materials. So really you can use it for anything. So on the right side here, there's a pretty sizable pocket with a flap to protect it. And then on the left side is another pocket with a zip closure. And both of these kind of pop out. They're stitched in a way where they're not flat, so you can actually fit quite a few items in here, which I really appreciate. Another detail that I really liked about the interior of this case is actually this lining that goes around both sides. It's very sturdy. It's a very hard kind of lining, and I think that's another detail that shows that it's built to withstand time. I think this type of lining really helps the case keep its shape over time so that it doesn't become kind of misshapen really quickly. It adds a lot of structural integrity, I think. The other thing I wanted to mention that I thought was another nice design detail is this strip that they've added here. I think it just gives the case some extra protection and durability as it's opened and closed countless times year over year. So that was nice. And even on the interior, you can see that same protective flap there. So overall, it's like really nicely designed. And even this inner lining feels really nice and durable. Okay, I've brought over all of the items that I'm hoping to store in this case. Let's see if it all fits. Okay, all of my pens are on this side and tools are on this side. And I'm gonna wanna store my pens in here. So I'm just folding that over for now. Starting with my mild liners. So I have 4 main ones that I use very frequently. And then I also started using these Kuretake Zig clean color dots. These are really nice for like trackers. Yeah, these are kind of all of my highlighter type of pens. And they fit perfectly in the back here. And then I can see there's still space for a whole other row or 2 of more pens. So I have my Sarasa vintage pens. I mainly use the red and the brown. I have my Sarasa clip, another Sarasa clip, my Muji gel pen, my Sharpie S gel. I've recently been using this quite a lot because I've realized that this doesn't smudge when I use my mild liners over it. So that's been great. And then I have my dip pen. So these are kind of my go-to pens that I use on a daily basis. And that fit in really nicely. There's still like quite some space if I needed to add even more in here. Wow, nice. Okay, and I love that this flap protects all of them. Okay, and I wanted to use this left section for my tools. And I'm a little nervous about this one. Like, I hope that everything still feels easy to access in here. But I think to make the items more accessible to me, I'm gonna put the ones that I use the least frequently towards this area and then most frequently towards the opening. I think that might be the easiest way to do this. I would say I use my whiteouts the least frequently. So I'm gonna put that on this side. Then I would say my glue stick. my scissors, my ruler. This one I don't think is gonna actually fit in here. Let's see, because it's quite long. And it's also really sharp because it's made of metal, so I don't want it ripping this fabric. I mean, it does fit. It does actually fit. So I guess I'll keep it in there. I also have my sticker tweezers, but unfortunately I lost the cap for this. So now this is just exposed and it's really pointy. So again, I'm really scared to rip this material. So I think I'm gonna keep this in a different pouch for now. Okay, and lastly, my glue tape. I think I use this the most out of all of my tools. And that fits really nicely right here. And that is perfect. Not overstuffed. There's definitely more space in here in both of these sections, but everything I need accessible to me on a daily basis when I'm journaling all fits in here. And it feels really easy to access everything, which is perfect because previously I was using 2 different cases to store my daily journaling supplies. I was using my Superior Labor Engineer pouch for all of my pens, and then my Delphonics utility case for all of my tools. So I'm really happy to be able to consolidate everything into this one case that can just lay flat on my desk. It's just really easy to access everything as I'm journaling. So that is fantastic. And now let's see how this looks when it's closed. So I can confirm it's a lot easier to zip up when the case is full. And this feels great. I mean, it's not too bulky, nothing is sticking out. Feels nice and flat and compact still. It definitely feels like there is a lot more room on the inside, which I think is great because I would like to be able to, when I'm traveling, store my fountain pens in here as well. And so as a fountain pen case, I think I'll get something that could fit in here. Maybe just like a 3-pen case or something that I can add on top, close up, and everything is nice and protected and all in one place. I think that'll work really well for me if I'm traveling or even if I'm just like cafe journaling or something. It's really handy. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of space in here still. I could definitely add more items. And just to test that out, I brought some more things. So if I want to take my TWSBI in here, I think that fits really nicely there. And then I have some stamps and my X-Acto knife. And that still fits perfectly. Okay, I'm super happy with this. I think it is exactly what I imagined it would be. And what I'm really happy about is it meets an unmet need in my life. I really needed one consolidated place to store all of my journaling tools, and currently I didn't have anything large enough and designed in such a way that I could do that. So this is perfect. I'm so happy with it. And I think the best part is just how beautiful it is. I love the brand Superior Labor, really align with their philosophy and their brand values. And I think it's so cool that each one of these is handcrafted in Japan at the Superior Labor studio. So someone actually constructed this by hand, and you can really see that in how this is constructed. I mean, the craftsmanship is impeccable. There's so much thought and care put into this case, and that's very, very evident to me. So that is also really special, just knowing that this is a handcrafted case from Japan using materials that were sourced in Japan. So that is the Superior Labor Utility Leather Case in dark brown. I could not be happier with it. I am so happy to have this in my possession now, and I'm really curious to know if any of you also have this case and how it has held up over the years if you've had it for a while. I'm really curious to see how this is going to age over time, and I'm looking forward to seeing it patina and kind of soften and become squeakier. I know the Superior Labor is known for the squeakiness of their leather as well. Let me know if you have any questions about this case as well. I'd be happy to answer. Thank you for giving me company today, and I hope you enjoyed. And with that, I will see you in the next one.